Now you have to acknowledge this, and then we'll save the lifecycle policy. So you guys can see my lifecycle policy is saved. Delete over version is the name. Apply to whole bucket. Action for current version, we have not set any action for current version. And for previous version, permanently delete. So in this way, you can create a lifecycle policy. You can also take the actions like enable lifecycle and disable lifecycle policy. So you just need to select. You need to, because now as soon as you create a lifecycle policy, it is automatically enabled. So you can disable it. I have disabled my lifecycle policy. You guys can see this blue tick become slightly gray. You can also select and delete it. So my lifecycle policy is now deleted. Have you guys understood how to create lifecycle? Okay, Manoj is asking, if our main aim is to delete unused file, then why are we performing transition to move it into backup storage and wait it to be deleted? No, Manoj, you must have like seen, I have not created any transition like during the lifecycle policy creation. Okay, see this again. I'll select add lifecycle policy. Okay, I'll give any name, old. I'll apply it to all the objects. I'll go next. And in the transition, like you can see, I have not added any transition. I'm directly going on to next, and then I can give expiration. So I'm directly giving the expiration. I'm not adding any transition. So you don't need to add, like this is not compulsory to add any transition. But if you are creating a lifecycle policy, so lifecycle policy means you are moving your data from one class to other class. So you can, what you can do during a lifecycle policy, it is not compulsory to create transition, but you need to create an expiration. So your question was, we are why not to use direct expiration? So we are using direct expiration. Got it? Okay. Any other doubt in life cycle? Anyone having any doubt in life cycle? Otherwise, we'll go on to replication. Because guys, this all these steps are like very much important in S3 business, and I can like make you this clear that you guys, if you guys will solve papers for your AWS exam, right? Like practice papers and all. So you'll see the questions on life cycle policy, application policy. So life cycle and replication is way more important for your exams point of view as well as for the practicals point of view. So if there is any doubt in life cycle, so please ask. Otherwise, we'll move on to replication.
Nishit, Lokendra here. I have a signal issue here since it was continuously raining here. So in between, I have some gaps, but I have a question on this one. See, you told, if I'm not wrong, you told like that transition or one more option you told, right? Like expiration configuration. So how it knows whether the particular object is not accessible from these 365 days? How it come to knows like?
Okay, nice. So if you are storing some data, right?
Yeah.
Like okay, let's understand in this way with example. Like you are hosting a website, okay, or you are hosting any application or deploying any application, and then you have updated that application after 1 year. Like every 1 year, you update that application. So after 5 to 6 years, so the first version of your application is not that much important for you, right?
Correct.
So what you will do, you'll make the transition of that object. So in that way you can, and for that thing we guys create CloudWatch. I told you we can create CloudWatch for the usage of services.
Correct.
So we will create a CloudWatch if you are like This is very much clear, make this very much clear if you are using any service for any of the projects in real world, right? This is for everyone. Like telling this in general. If you are using any service for any project or for any of the real time project or for the project of your industry or company, so for any of the service, you need to create a CloudWatch because CloudWatch will make you understand what is the usage of your service, how your service is being used, and all. So CloudWatch is necessary. So when you will host any website or when you will deploy any applications, you will create the CloudWatch. So with the help of CloudWatch, AWS will make you understand, or AWS will tell you guys if this object is not in use. So then you can create a lifecycle policy for that object. So this way you'll get to know which object is not in use on daily basis. Understand?
So CloudWatch is a service which will come to know, like it will give suggest like this.
Pardon?
CloudWatch is the service which will suggest us like, okay, so and so version you are not at all using. See, S3 bucket when I
Your
hosted,
voice is breaking up.
yeah, that's what I have some problem here actually today. It was raising, network is disconnecting, connecting. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, your voice is breaking. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so I have installed website first version and second version and third version. Okay.
Mhm.
So version wise when it was installed, okay, obviously when first version or second version I'm not at all using. Third version only we are accessing, doing the updates on third version or something we are doing on third version.
Yeah.
So I have installed CloudWatch on S3 or website level, on service level, like CloudWatch will work.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
So, okay, I got your point. Like, you want to know, like, for what purpose you need to create CloudWatch, right?
No, not that one. So CloudWatch I can create on service level, right?
Yeah, CloudWatch is for
So
service level.
yeah, if I configure CloudWatch on one S3 bucket, how CloudWatch will come to know? Okay, I'm accessing only S3 third version of the website, not previous and previous version of the website.
So, yeah,
How?
okay. So, the main purpose of CloudWatch is CloudWatch monitors all the services. Like, if you are configuring a CloudWatch on your object, okay, understand this thing. If you are configuring a CloudWatch on your object, like I have this object with me, uh, bucket fruit test. Okay, sorry, this is not the object. I have this object with me, root key, access key.
Mhm.
है So
Yeah.
what I'll do, I'll create a CloudWatch. I'll configure a CloudWatch on this object. So
Oh,
CloudWatch will monitor each and everything which I am doing, whatever I am doing on this object. Each and everything. Like if this object is not in use for like 10 days, so CloudWatch will notify me with email or with any of the things that you are not using this. So you will come to know these in detail when we will study CloudWatch, SNS, because if you create a CloudWatch, you need to create a SNS, because if you are creating a CloudWatch and you want AWS to inform you that this service is not in use, so you have to create SNS. So we'll see
but
that 18th of this. Yeah.
but CloudWatch can be set up on service level, right? Either S3 or EC2, not on the
Yeah.
object of a service, right? See, I have stored
Yeah.
in S3 some object, but can I schedule CloudWatch to monitor uh, object inside the S3?
You also just a minute. See on my screen. You also have
Yeah.
metrics here.
Okay.
You can see. So metrics is basically analytics, and metrics is basically the monitoring tool of S3 bucket. So
Correct.
whatever you do for storage, for request, data transfer application. So if you are doing anything on like object and all in the S3 bucket, so you can see that from here as well. So for that also you can add or you can configure a CloudWatch on S3, and then you can add the filters here, add the tags here, so you can see each and everything.
So inside S3 objects.
Yeah, inside S3, like you can see, I'm in the bucket. In the management option, we have analytics and metrics.
Correct.
You can see. So I can do analytics and metrics on my S3, like objects on my S3 bucket. So this way
Okay.
also I can do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, a replication. So anyone know what is replication? If anyone is writing, then write. Please tell yes or no first, then write the answer. Anyone know what is replication? Okay, Ravi said no. Manoj, no. Manoj didn't answer yet. Manoj, you know what is replication? Manoj, are you there? To replicate. Like Manoj, you what I can say, like okay, I'll tell you. Replication is what is replication. Yeah, definitely. Uh, if you just a minute, Lokendra, please mute yourself. Otherwise I'll mute yourself, Lokendra. Okay. So yeah, so replication. Like if I've created an S3 bucket, and I want this S3 bucket to be visible in any other region of other account, or same region of other account. So in that case, I can create replication. So what replication will do? Replication AWS will replicate, will like create a similar clone of my S3 bucket into that account and in that region which I have selected. So I can create replications again. Understood what is replication? Ravi and Time, you understood what is replication? Okay. So how we can create a replication? So we can just add a rule. Okay. So just a minute. Enable versioning. Okay. So okay. How we can create replication? So we can just add a rule. Now make this thing very much clear that if you want to replicate your bucket, you need to enable the versioning in your bucket, right? So here the console is asking me what I want. Like I want to replicate my entire bucket, or I want to replicate any of a particular object. So I want to replicate my entire bucket. So I'll select the entire bucket. Like now we have. You can mute yourself. So like I want to replicate my data with the encryption setting. So I have KMS encryption with me. So I okay, no issue. Lokendra, just mute yourself. No issue. So like I am replicating my whole bucket. So I can enable encryption on my bucket. Like if I am having some critical data in my S3 bucket. So in that case, I cannot replicate my bucket without creating encryptions on it. So what I can do, I can just select KMS encryption method, one of the encryption method, and I can select this encryption method S3. I have one encryption method. We can also create different KMS keys. So I'll also let you know how you can create KMS keys. Then we'll select next. So we have destination bucket. So in which bucket I want my data to get replicated. So we have two options: bucket in this account and bucket in other account. So if I want to replicate my data in any other account, like okay, so what we will do? Any one of you give me your account ID, and okay, you don't have the bucket, right? So what I'll do, I'll show you how I can replicate my data in other account. I also have one more account, so I'll enter the account ID of that account. Just a minute. I have my account ID in my mobile phone. I'll enter that. So what I am doing, I am replicating my data in my S3 bucket in other account. So I am entering my account ID. So this is my account ID. You'll find your account ID in your account name, my account settings. Then what I am doing, I am creating an S3 bucket on that account, because for like if I want to replicate my data to other accounts, I need to have an S3 bucket in that account. So I'm just a minute. I'm creating an S3 bucket in that account. Name is, let's see, it should take this name. Okay, so I have created, what I have done is I have created an bucket in my other account, right? Where the account which I have entered the account ID. So I'll enter the name, three, four, like a big name, very big name. Okay, so and then I'll save this. So what I have done is can't detect whether versioning is enabled on destination bucket or not. Okay, so like what the message is pop up is Amazon S3 can't detect whether versioning is enabled in destination bucket or not. So I have entered a destination bucket which is in my other account. I have saved it. Then storage class. So what I want in my destination bucket, change the storage class. Like I am replicating my data and I want my data to be in Glacier storage in that bucket, in my destination bucket. So I can do that, but I want it to be in standard bucket ownership. So I can change my bucket ownership. S3 replication time control. So I can also create time control. Like what is time control? So replication time control replicated 99.9% of your new objects within 15 minutes. Additional per GB data transfer fees if cloud was matrix fee will apply. So I'm not configuring time control. Then we'll go next. Okay. So I have to select an IAM role. Hmm. So I have selected and I have to select an IAM role. So I have selected an IAM role for sorry. I have selected IAM role AWS service role for organization, because the account which I am using is in my organization. I have created an organization in my account. Then I am entering the role name, send S3 test 5. Okay, and the status is enabled. Then I'll select next. Then I'll save it. Destination bus. Okay, so what they are asking me to enable the versioning. So I'll just quickly enable the versioning in my destination bucket. Okay, so what I have done, I have enabled the versioning in my destination bucket. Okay, so I'll again try it. Okay, so you guys can see replication configuration uploaded successfully. Right, I'll just refresh my Count. Okay, so we'll wait till our object get replicated in our destination account. As soon as our object will get replicated in our destination account, I'll let you guys. I'll show you that. Okay. Okay, so this way we can create replication. Now we have analytics. So analytics and metrics are the two sections with which we can monitor, we can analyze the usage of our objects and services, whatever we are using in our S3 bucket. So we can analyze each and everything with the help of analytics and metrics. Now we have options, permission. So whatever the permissions, like we can allow, we can block all the public access of our S3 bucket. Then we have access control list, ACL, like to whom we want to give permissions. Like I have given the access for this bucket to this canonical account, like this is the other account. We can also create bucket policies. So if you don't know bucket policy, like if you don't know JSON code, right? Amazon uses JSON code. So here at the bottom, you guys can see we have option policy generator. So I'll open it in new browser. So you can create your own policies as well, like the type of policy, S3 bucket policy, effect, principle, like what is the main motto of your policy, all services on S3 bucket. So this way, and then add action, what you want. So create bucket, create job. So this way you can create your own policy. So in bucket policies, you can create your own policy. Then we have section properties. Okay, so in properties, here comes the main thing, like versioning, server access logging, object level logging, and all. So all the things, all the configuration, you can change all the configuration here. Like for the general configuration, we have versioning. So how you can do versioning, enable and disable. So you just need to click on the name, then you will get option enable versioning and suspend versioning. Then you need to save it. For server access logging, I'll select server access logging, I'll enable it, and then I'll have to select the bucket. I'll select the bucket, target prefix, and then save it. This way I can enable server access logging. If I want to host a static website on my S3 bucket, so we have three options. The default one is disabled. Second is redirect request. So if I can redirect the request, like I can directly give the domain name and the protocol, like with what protocol the website is using, HTTP or HTTPS. Like if I have my website stored in, like I have hosted my website through EC2, so I can give domain name, like domain name is DNS, public DNS name of that instance, and protocol, which protocol I am using. Or else if I am having all the file and all the configuration of my website on my S3 bucket, so what I need to do, I need to create an index file. Like if you have created any website, or if you have hosted any website, so you guys might know that you guys need an index file, index.html. So I'll give the name of that index file. Then we have to create an error document, like when in the case when your website is not reachable. So in that case, for that case, you guys need to give a error document if this file is not accessible and all. You guys can so for that you can give error document. Then we can also write redirection rules. So this is optional. This is basically a description. So this way we can post a static website on our S3. Then we have got object level logging. So I've told you what is object level logging. You can directly select the CloudTrail. For that you need to create a CloudTrail first. Then you can select the CloudTrail, and then you can select the event, like read for which event you want CloudTrail to work upon, like for read or for write. In that way you can create object level logging. Then we have default encryption. So default encryption is none. We can create either S3 managed key or either KMS. So we can create encryptions as well. Now we have, okay, let me see if there is any chat. Okay, so no one wrote something. Then we have advanced settings. So what is advanced settings? So we have object lock. So you guys can enable object lock during the creation of bucket. You guys can see this. After you create object lock, so then you can do the configuration. Then you can create tags. Then we have transfer acceleration. So transfer acceleration is nothing but when you transfer data or transfer file from your S3 bucket. So for that we can create transfer acceleration to accelerate our transferring of our file and all. We can create events like I want to add a new file on that day, so I can create an event for that, and I can add a notification. And then we have requesters pay. Like requesters pay is something if someone is asking something, like if someone is asking you for the access of your data in S3 bucket. So in that case, you'll ask requesters pay. You'll enable requesters pay. So the requester, the guy who is requesting you or requesting for the data in your S3 bucket will pay for the usage of your data till the particular period of time till he is using that. So we can enable requester pay. So these are some of the properties which AWS S3 bucket provides. So I think you guys must be clear till now. Anyone having any doubt?
So whatever the properties just now we have shown, those are the S3 bucket level, right?
Yeah, S3 bucket level, only S3 bucket level.
Okay, so, so some objects you have shown object level also. So the one object level permission property also there, right, in the properties.
This one?
Yeah, object level logging.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is basically for that purpose. Like if you are reading or writing anything in your object, so this is for that. Like if you are reading your object, if you are writing something into your object, so how you'll come to know like who like if you are gave the access of your S3 bucket to other accounts. So how you'll come to know who write in your S3 bucket, who read your S3 bucket. So for that you can create object level logging.
So CloudTrail console it is showing, right, some object, some
yeah, CloudTrail, because CloudWatch is for services, and we are basically, this is for the accounts, right? If someone from other account is reading, so that's why we'll create CloudTrail.
So if you use here CloudTrail console to log those things, again it will be chargeable, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, one more thing I have got for you guys today. Like I've got the list of all the services which comes under Fleetier. Just a minute, Manoj has asked something, then I'll show you that website. Okay, Manoj has asked something. Okay. Will replication perform? Okay. Like okay. First, Ravi has asked something. Actually, it means clone as backup and copy to other accounts. So basically, Ravi, replications mean like if you have some data and you want other guy also to see your data, so then you can create replication, right? So you are creating a clone. Okay, then Manoj is asking, will replicate. Okay, Ravi, what you are trying to say, I didn't got your point. Like, what is this? Okay, Manoj is asking, will replicate perform full clone of feature of lifecycle encryption method? And Manoj, I didn't got your point. Like, what are you asking? Manoj has also wrote one more point. When we clone a bucket from one AWS account to other account, will the source account have any kind of access to that bucket which is created in? No, Manoj, you'll not have any access to the bucket. You will not have any access to the bucket of destination account. Replications mean you are replicating your bucket or your object from your account to other account. Why you will have the access of that account? You'll not have access of that account, like access of S3 objects of that account. you are replicating your objects. Understand?
Nishit, one quick question: the
Ah.
replication part.
Mm-hmm.
So who will take care of this replication once we select the replication of for making this object available on another S3? Backend,
The
which
root
service will
account.
be taking care of which service?
Root account have to do all of the things regarding replication. Like
So,
replication is for if you are having a client, right, and you
hmm,
have some data, and
hmm,
he asks you to show that data. So you'll not give him your root account ID, password, and all everything.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
So
hmm,
what you
hmm.
will do, you will replicate your data to his account, so that then he can see your data and all.
Okay, that means replication will happen under one root account, right? It will not be cross root account. See, I have one root account,
Mm-hmm.
another root account. So
Mm-hmm.
if I want to
I didn't got your point.
see, for example, you are one company, you have one root account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have another company, I have another root account. If I
Yeah.
want to replicate under account one S3 bucket object into account root account two S3 bucket object, will it be possible?
Yeah, definitely. You can
So
replicate objects in your account as well, and as well as in other accounts.
other account. So what the service it
Yeah,
will take care of replicating this object to other this bucket to that bucket.
like you can just a minute. I'll show you. Okay. So the okay, you can see source and destination, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
my
mm.
source account is different here, and destination account is different. Okay.
Yeah.
My source account and destination account is not same. Like my source account is this root account on which I am working, and destination
Mm.
account is my sister's account. Like my sister is also having an AWS account, so
Okay.
destination
Okay.
account is her account. Okay.
No, no, no. I got it that actually. But
Mm-hmm.
with my curiosity, I'm asking, since Amazon having
Mm-hmm.
so many services internally, so these kind of
Mm-hmm.
replication activities will be under which service? Amazon service. So some service has to be taken, right, to replicate from this bucket to another bucket.
Mm-hmm. So
So
it
any
comes under
idea?
S3 only. No, they are not using any third party service. S3 will do everything, each and everything. S3 will replicate each and everything. So
Okay.
S3 will directly send your replication request to their servers in their data centers, and from their data centers, all the servers will replicate your data from S3 to the S3 bucket of other. So each and everything is take care by S3 only. No other services is
Okay.
involved.
Okay. Okay. So this is irrespective
Yeah,
of cross region also. So anywhere that
yeah,
bucket can be available. If within not region,
yeah, yeah,
any other region also it can be possible.
yeah. You can, yeah. We have two options: same region replication and cross region replication.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we have two options. So we can create either in either way.
Okay.
Okay. Any other doubts?
Access points. Can you please tell me quickly in 2 minutes? That time I have the connection issue. Just in a small
Access
introduction.
point.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. If you have created your S3 bucket, right?
yeah.
So yeah, and you don't want to give the access of your S3 bucket to your client and all.
Correct.
So in that case, you create an access point. So what you do, you'll create an access point for them, and you'll provide them the like basic keys and all. So with the help of that configuration, that keys and all, that basic credential, uh, so through that access point, they'll see the data of your S3 bucket. So in that case, your S3 bucket is also secure. The data in S3 bucket is also secure, and he didn't get access like complete access to your S3 bucket. So that's why we create access points. Access point, like you can read, access point can be used to provide access to your bucket. S3 console didn't support using VPC. Okay, so and like if you if you want to access bucket resource from VPC access, you'll need to use AWS CLI and all. So if you want to give access of your bucket to any of the third party client and all, So you'll not give the full access of your bucket. No? In that case, you create access point.
So how the access point can be accessed by a third party? I got the clue. What is that exactly? But
Okay,
how
see,
it is
I'll show
possible?
you.
Just I want to see.
I'll show you. Just a minute. What you need to do, you need to click on create access point. Okay. We have to we need to give the access point. Like we need to give the name of access point. So we'll give any name, ABCDEF. Then we need to select the network access type, like which access type, which network access type I want to give. Like I want to give it through VPC or through internet. So if I'll select internet, so it will not ask me anything. But if I'll select VPC, so they'll ask me to give the VPC ID. So if I'm giving it to the client, so I'll give it through internet. I'll not give him through VPC ID.
Yeah.
So then I'll select internet. Then I'll remove all the public access, because if I'll block the public access, how the third party client will be able to access my bucket and all, right?
Yeah.
Then we can directly create access point. So my access point is now created. You can see my access point is created.
Correct.
Then I can use this access point. So this way I can create access point.
So again, if they okay, it will restrict the access to S3 bucket itself. So again, to access this one, he has to access through CLI or console only.
Yeah. CLI, API, or any other way, right?
Okay.
Or if you have stored some, like, okay, understand in this way, like not for the client. If you are using this S3 bucket for your applications, like if you are working on any application or you are working on any project, like any big data and all, understand? So for that purpose, you are storing all your data in S3. So in that case, how you will access your S3? So for that purpose, we create access point. So we'll create access point. We'll like access our S3 bucket with the help of API of our whatever the development tool we are using. So in that case, we create access point. So we can create that also.
Okay.
Okay, one more thing I want you guys to know. Like S3 bucket is very much secure. So AWS provides you this much security that if you guys are deleting something, so first you have to write the name of that like if you have created a policy, if you have created an object. So whenever you try to delete anything, they'll ask you the name. So in that case, you guys cannot claim on AWS like how my data got deleted. They'll tell you like we have put an security option that you have to write the name. So how come your object get deleted automatically? So this is a security issue, a security purpose, not issue, security feature. So if I like when I deleted my access point, so they asked me the name. Like I'll show you.
When AWS is this much secure and AWS S3 is this much secure, why exactly we require the encryption machine?
Which type of encryption?
Like since it is having AWS has a different type of encryptions. Take the example of S3. It has two types of encryption: S3 and KLMS something. So, but see, data encryption basically someone can access the data objects and see the data, and they can store the data. When it is this much secure, like you need all this access, and even AWS account level itself, it is this much secure. Why exactly they are going for the encryption then?
Like that S3 managed key and KMS, right? That thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
see, top level itself is this much secure. Then again, data level.
Because AWS is providing you 99.9% security, 99.999, like that much security, that much they are assuring you that your data is secure. So for that, they are providing multiple security methods. Like this security is for your data creation and deletion and editing anything. Now, if you are using your data, understand this, right? If you are using your data, you have configured or you have give access of your data to any development tool.
Mm.
So during the usage of that development tool, your data will be accessed through that development tool.
Yes.
So there are various kind of hackers and various kind of like dirty-minded people are there in market.
Mm-hmm.
So what they very well know how they can get your data. So during the usage of your data in any development tool and all, so for that purpose we have that KMS and S3 management. Like you are sending your data outside your S3 bucket, right? So for that purpose we have that kind of security, because AWS provides you security. AWS will give you security in each and every way. Like if you are moving your data from one part to another in your account itself, so that part is also secured. So that's why they are providing you security for multiple purposes. That's why that KMS, that S3 managed keys are for your data which you have which you have associated with any of the tool. So whenever the tool uses that data, or whenever you are giving you like, tell me.
No, sorry. Proceed. Just I'm saying, yeah, this is
okay. So whenever you use that data, like with any development tool, or let's say you have a big company and you are sending your data from one branch to other branch. So for that purpose, you have that KMS S3. So what that KMS and S3 will do? That KMS and S3 will encrypt your data in two ways. First of all, they'll encrypt your data with the basic encryption, and then on that basic encryption, they'll also encrypt your data. Like they'll encrypt your data in two levels, like level 1 and level 2, and both the level will have different encryption keys. So that encryption key, you'll get that encryption key, then you'll give that encryption key to your client, then he'll use that encryption key. So this way you can encrypt your data. So in this way your data is that much secured.
Will encrypt the data. So for example, it has to decode again to normal data once I transfer the data.
Yeah,
is there any algorithm? Any?
Yeah, you'll give that code, na? When you encrypt the data. When you encrypt the data, so you're creating an encryption key.
Correct.
So that encryption key, you'll provide that encryption key to your client. So this is important. That is why encryption is important. So if you are encrypting your data, and if you are providing your data to the client, so your client will not be able to access that data directly. You have your client will require that encryption key. And if you will not provide that encryption key, your client will not be able to access that data. So in some ways, like if any hacker or if any of the other guy access your data in middle, like create a loophole in middle and take all your data. So then in that case, he'll not be able to access your data, because you are not sending the encryption key, na? You are giving encryption key separately.
Yeah.
So
that
is why.
Yeah. Can you please show sometime, anytime when we have some bandwidth, about this process, like how you need to?
Yeah, definitely. I'll show you guys all of this. Yeah. I have planned each and everything. Like I'll show you each and everything, how you guys can send data, how we can create encryption keys, and also I'll show you guys each and everything.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, Manoj is asking something. Manoj is asking, but when we are making bucket available to public, then the third party member can access it without. Like if you are making it public, so basically when you make anything public, if you are making it public, that means you are having that you are containing the data that should be accessed by public. Like if you have a website, then in that case only you will make your website. You will make your S3 bucket public. If you are having any application, so in that case you will make your S3 bucket public. So in that case, you can access your S3 bucket through any platform. You'll not You'll not need AWS CLI. Okay. Okay. Anyone having any other doubts in S3 bucket? Okay, now we have got one website. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll give you this link. So I'm giving this link in the chat box, as well as I'll give this link in the group as well. So by just simply clicking on this link, you'll get directed onto this page. Here on this page, you'll find each and every service that comes under free tier. Like for compute is basically EC2. So for compute, you get 750 hours. So 750 hours, like 750 hour per month. Here it is written. It has written 750 hour per month. So that does not mean that you are using 750 hours this month. Then next month you'll use 750 hours. Then next month you'll use 750 hours. That is not in free tier. Like if you are using 750 hour in 1 month, so your free tier will get expired in 1 month only. So like you will get whole install 750 hour for your compute services. Then for storage is basically S3. So you get 5 GB of storage in your free tier. Like you can use 5 GB of your standard storage. We have seen the standard storage class today. So we can use 5 GB of standard storage class in our free tier. And the free tier is for 12 months. Here it is written 12 months. You guys can see. Then we have databases. So we can use this RDS database. So RDS is relational database. So we can use RDS for 750 hours, same as that of EC2. Then we have got another database, that is DynamoDB. So DynamoDB is nothing but NoSQL data. NoSQL data, I think you guys might have heard about NoSQL data. What is NoSQL data? So you guys get 25 GB of like 25 GB of storage for your DynamoDB. Understand? Then we have, if you guys use machine learning, so you guys get 250 hours of SageMaker. And AWS SageMaker is a development tool which Amazon provides us for machine learning purposes. If you guys have attended the workshops or the seminars that Amazon provides, so you guys might have heard about AWS SageMaker. Then we have got one more compute service, AWS Lambda. So we'll also see this service in our training session. So you guys can see like 1 million free requests per month. Like only 1 million free requests you guys will get in AWS Lambda. But you guys can see free tier, like you guys will have free tier always. Like this is for lifetime. Like you can send 1 million requests in your lifetime. But as soon as you exceed 1 million requests, your free tier will get expired. Then we have got another compute service, that is Lightsail, that is for 750 hours. Then we have GuardDuty, which is for security purpose. So we have got this for 30 days. We have SNS. So SNS is notification services. So we have also got this SNS for free tier for lifetime, but only for 1 million requests. So in this way, you guys can go on to next page. So we have got each and everything. So CloudWatch is also always like lifetime in free tier, but only 10 CloudWatch at a time. Okay, now we have got API gateways, and also we have got each and every service that AWS provides. So you can directly just go on to next page and you can find out which service comes under free tier. So we have got a lot more requests from you guys, like how you can figure out which comes under free tier or not. So this way you can figure out like which services is in your free tier and which service is not in your free tier. Now this is the website of AWS, which will tell you which service comes under free tier or not. But how you will come to know how much of the free tier you have used. So you guys don't need to worry for that. What you need to do, you need to click on your name. You need to go on to billing dashboard. Let us wait for it. Then in the billing dashboard, as soon as you start using your services, so just you guys need to scroll down. Here you guys can see free tier service usage. So you can see how much of your free tier services you have used. Okay, got my point? Is all your doubts clear for the free tier and all things? Is anyone still have any doubts regarding which service comes under VTR or not? So please let us know. So this way you can figure out which service will come under VTR or which service will not. Then I was telling about as a simple monthly calculator. So how you can calculate your estimated monthly cost. So here we have got a simple monthly calculator. I have given this. I have given the link of this simple monthly calculator in our group. I'll give you guys again. So how you can do? You can if you want to like calculate your estimated cost for S3. So you guys need to select S3. You guys can see here we have got different services. So I have selected S3. Now which storage class I am using? You guys can see like all the storage class that are there in S3. We have got all the storage class, right? So let's say I'm using standard storage class. So how much GB, TB or PB? PB is petabyte. So let's say I want 50 GB of storage. So then we have got put, copy, post, and least request. So how much request you guys think that you guys can do? So I am entering like 1 million requests, 10 lakh. Then you guys can see get or select request. So how much get request? Get request is basically you ask for the data. So I'm giving it for 50,000. Then scanned data returned by S3 select. So this is like if you are asking for the data and S3 bucket returns your data, or S3 data scanned by S3 bucket. So if you are let's say S3 will return or give me 20 GB of my data, and data scanned by S3 bucket, let's say 50 GB. So I have like selected each and everything. So this is the like default or like default settings, or I can say like any settings which I have taken by my own. So you guys can see I have selected 50 GB of storage. I have selected like 1 million requests, 1 million put requests in a month, and I have requested 50,000 get requests in a month. So here you will see how much cost the AWS will charge you, $6.15, and you guys can convert it in your currencies, like whatever currency you guys have. So you guys can see how less AWS is charging you. So AWS is not that much costly. You guys can also change the region. Like if I'll change the region from my North Virginia to Mumbai, so it might be some difference in my storage and all, because North Virginia is in America and Mumbai is in India, right? So there is a huge difference between hardware. There is a huge difference of cost in the hardware and all in all the countries.
The charges will apply based on the region currency, or always it will be USD dollars?
Pardon?
The charges will be applied based on the region.
Yeah, definitely, because every region have a different cost for the hardware, right? Like Mumbai has different cost of hardware. In America, will the hardware will cost less than they'll cost in India and in other countries. So
it will be based on local currencies, or it will be conversion into dollars?
Definitely it is based on local currency. Like you guys can see, I have put the same configuration as I have done in North Virginia. Now I have done it in Mumbai. So the cost is slightly more, $8.07. In North Virginia, it was around 6.02, and in Mumbai, it was around 8.07, because hardware in India are much more expensive than hardware we get in America. That's why I prefer you guys to work in North Virginia, Ohio, because that regions are in US, and there the cost of hardware is much more less than the cost of hardware we get here. So each and every cost, like cost totally depends on the cost of hardware in that country. Understand? So always try to, like, if you are working for your educational purpose, or if you are working on your own projects, so try to work in the region, in the region of that country where the hardware cost is low. Getting my point? So then in that case you can save your amount and all. So you guys can see, like, how less AWS is charging me, how less AWS, like how less I get the cost of using AWS. So AWS is much more cheaper than any other cloud services. Like, I can bet on this. So this way you can calculate your estimated cost. So I'll also give this link in the chat box, and I'll give this link in our group as well. Okay. So are you guys clear till now? Like, have you guys understood what is S3, how we can create S3 buckets, and how we can create lifecycle policies, how we can replicate our data and all? So are you guys clear, or are you guys having any doubt? Yeah. Now I'll show you guys. What I'll do. I'll delete, like, our last task of today session. I'll delete one S3 bucket. So we can see. So you guys can see, as I clicked on S3 bucket, delete S3 bucket. So they asked me, before deleting the test B123, consider the following. So this is for the security purpose. So bucket name is unique. If you delete this bucket, another user, AWS user, can use the name. Like, another user can use this name, but I'll not be able to use this name. Okay. This bucket is not empty. If you delete it, all the object will in the bucket will also be deleted. So this is sure, I think, clear, I think, based on the number. Okay, so all these things is for the security purpose. And at the last, type the name of bucket to confirm the deletion. So they'll ask you to write the name of the bucket that you have created. So this is the security feature of AWS. So as soon as I write the name, my bucket got deleted. So this way you can create S3 bucket, you can configure S3 bucket, and you can do each and everything on S3 bucket. Now today I forgot to give you the task. So the task was, like, I'll not give you extra task. You guys just need to do that project that we have seen yesterday. So try to do that project. We are not giving you any time boundation on that project. And for tomorrow's task, I'll make sure that I'll give you tomorrow's task by night or by morning. So you guys don't need to worry for that. And okay, so this much for today. And what we will do tomorrow, we will see. We will host a static website on our S3 bucket, and if